All right. Good evening, everybody. Should be able to hear me loud and clear. If I can get a couple of you to go ahead and let me know, give me a thumbs up. Great. All right, let's get started. This is the Monday, November 9th, Hurley Investments Market View Commentary. I'm Keith Bybee with you tonight. Kevin is out on a fishing trip, and I'm taking over for a couple of days. So good to be with you. Should be able to see my screen. Okay, I think we're good. So, wow, what a day. I'm just gonna go over here and highlight a couple things. What even updated? Almost 700,000 crossed all of our accounts in a single day. We were up. That I think I'm pretty sure is our biggest one-day gain, at least that I've ever seen. So that is pretty cool, if you ask me. So we had a weekend that we somewhat have a president decided upon. If you watch the news, they pretty much called it. I don't think I'm surprising anybody here. And of course, a lot of new litigation and court cases and recounts that Trump is trying to put in with his law team on several states which were close and counting. And I gotta say, I don't expect anything to come of it, but to be quite honest, I am surprised at last week's movement in the stock market and how the stock market reacted to what looked like a Biden win. And now this week, this day, the start of this week, to follow through with it. But obviously, I don't think that's the only news that pushed it up today. Just to go over a little recap here, I've got from our Y charts. S&P index climbed 7.3% last week. Strong reversal as investors looked forward to the end of the contentious election. And then that made up for a 5.6% fall the week before. Market benchmark is now up 8.6% year to date. Let's see some other notes. Friday, this guy here, monthly jobs data from the Labor Department showed employment growth slowed in October, but came in ahead of expectations. I believe the last one was something around over 8% unemployment, and now is just below 7 in that month, which is always good to see things continue to come back, even as cases have continued to climb. Cases at this point seem to be completely ignored in coronavirus numbers as far as the market is concerned. I would say the biggest reason for the drop in September and October was really just not getting the stimulus that the market was hoping for. And now that an election's over, that comes back into play. To hope that gets done sooner than later. All right, so the rest of that is there for you to read as it gets posted. So I've mentioned a few things. Let me say this. What happened to the market today? Anyone want to fill everybody else in on what you think happened today? Of course, in the morning started out much higher, up here close to what, 3,600 right there. Actually, sorry, it started around just under 3,600, went up to 3,650-ish and ended down for the day, but positive from the day before Friday. So, but that is still, this little jump here is still a good size jump, and we have this resistance level that it looks like it at least tried to hold today, pretty close. Jim, Pfizer news on virus vaccine. Yes. So Pfizer, write it in. Pfizer came out and said they have been testing their vaccine, and in conjunction, I can't remember the German company they're working with. They've been working together on it, but they said, I think that's how you spell Pfizer. So they said they had a 90% success rate on a second dose virus vaccine, which is very positive. Most everyone was expecting a typical results you'd expect from any flu vaccine, seasonal flu vaccine that they come out with, which is usually around a 60% success rate. So for them to come out and say they've been getting results in 90% is a huge plus. Let's see, that's not the way to say it. Yeah, success rate on virus vaccine. So that was a huge positive. Of course, that comes with the caveat that we still have to wait for that to be produced. We had Governor Cuomo came out on the news and basically stepped his boot on a cute little bunny and decided to kind of, for lack of a better way to say it, to poo-poo the optimism on the vaccine. Which is pretty amazing, pretty crazy if you ask me. So I don't think that necessarily affected the market, because he's just one guy, and it was hugely positive news. But yeah, obviously it's going to have to take time, and politics is hopefully going to have to get out of the way. It just seems an awful lot like New York Governor Cuomo doesn't want to give Trump credit for getting this to happen, which obviously Trump's not working at Pfizer and doing the lab studies, and he basically worked with lots of private drug companies to get things going at the fastest rate possible, which any dummy in the presidency would have done the same, I think. What other things do you think happened today? Let me go over Apple. Not go over Apple, but show some of the individual stocks. We had a bunch of stocks that were up just crazy amounts, but a select few dropped. Maybe you guys can help me figure out what happened. So Apple couldn't stay over 120, came back down, but stayed above the 50-day at 116. Facebook is another one. Really ugly red bar. Opened at 290 and couldn't hold anything and just came back to just under 280. But if you looked at anything that has been beat up throughout the year or that just hasn't taken off, we've got Boeing here. Any of the airline stocks typically will have throughout the year have bounced on any good treatment or vaccine news. And the same has gone for Boeing. But maybe ones that aren't necessarily directly related to needing that vaccine. A Bank of America closed at 24.30ish on Friday, opened at 26 and went all the way up to almost 28. Did go up to 28, but finished just under. So a bank stock, financial, look at JP Morgan, pretty much looks the same. Visa has struggled to stay over 200 for most of this year, and big pop up to the yearly high up here at the above around 215. Bummer that it couldn't hold that, but man, what a gap. So some crazy big moves. So based on a couple of these stocks that I've shown you, what are some broad notes that you would take? What are some takeaways? Apple, Facebook. Banks, plain stocks. What is the takeaway? Let me give you another hint. Netflix, another one that was down kind of big. Compare that to Disney, up huge. So why, let me do another tab here. Why are there some winners and some losers? And they're kind of big winners and big losers. What do you guys think? why would we have our techs, Apple, Facebook, a lot of the time Netflix is thrown in there, are good tech stocks that have made such a year for a lot of investors? Why would they be down on such a big up day for the market? So this is the S&P. Let's look at the NASDAQ. And again, you kind of see that red bar. All right, we got a comment. Taking profits. Yes. I think that would be a good guess. And that's Abraham, right? Yes, Abraham. Profit taking. For sure. Any other thoughts? Let me draw your eyes down here to the volume. You can kind of see the volume is around this rate, 9,500. Today up at almost 9,800. Up to the levels over here earlier in the year, May. Let's go back to the SPX. Kind of the same thing. Although you notice this one is positive up here at 3,000. And I actually think these are in millions. But I'm just telling you the numbers so I don't have to say in billions. Versus usually down here. So above average volume, what would you guys take from that? Jim says pent-up release from COVID may be driving outdoor non-sheltered activity increase. All right, let me get back to that. Abraham, indexes crossed the upper Bollinger during the session, so it looked overbought and signals an opportunity to take profits. Okay. All right, well, let me get back to yours, Jim. We'll get back to you, Abraham. So pent-up release from COVID may be driving outdoor non-sheltered activity increase. So that might be true, Jim, but that's a question of a sector that might benefit from that. And I'm not sure that would be the case because we're getting into the colder months. To follow up, people are concerned about censorship and maybe leaving some tech stocks. Well, it didn't say that in their numbers. Facebook, Twitter, I think Twitter actually had maybe, I don't quote me on that. Forget about Twitter. I don't follow it as much as Facebook. I know Facebook had a lot more active users. So I don't think that would be the case, but very interesting guesses. Back to you, Abraham. So I don't use Bollinger Bands. but that might be a technical reason to look at. We use the pivot points, which, I mean, it's obviously just similar, not the same thing, but similar idea of support and resistance levels versus a Bollinger Band, kind of a breakout level or overbought, underbought level. It did get close to a pivot point in here and kind of falls back down from it. So then, yeah, maybe there's some technical reasons. I'll get back to that one. All right, so lots of good thoughts. I like it, and there may be some good degree of truth around for those answers, but let me tell you what I think. I think that big institutional firms were taking profits on tech stocks and basically rebalancing, which kind of goes with the profit taking answer as well. So credit there. Big rebalancing out of tech, which would be some profit taking, but into, guess you could say some value, but it was fairly broad on everything that's kind of gotten beat up and hasn't really gotten back so fast as the techs. So I'll just say, well, everything else basically. Financials. Financials were a big part of it, so throw that in there as well. So that's what I think, that volume right there is what would tell me big rebalancing, new month after kind of we knew what happened with the election. Huge big news on Pfizer with their 90% success rate on their virus. All those things together, lots of volume. That tells me big money rotating out of certain things and into others. That is my take. Any other thoughts or questions, or do you agree with me? Had a question on Disney. Why did Disney jump $15 today? Ida, I'm not sure what you mean. ER Thursday, November 12th. Let's see, what was the 12th? Oh, earnings report. Yes, you're right. So I think that's estimated. We'll get to earnings. But yes, I don't think that was a pre-earnings run move. I think it was just part and parcel for another stock, value stock, that was being rotated into, partly because of the vaccine news, but partly because of tech profits, taking profits on tech stocks and moving into others. And Disney was the beneficiary, just like many of the others were. Beaten up, hasn't gotten back, big boost. So that's why. Don't think has anything to do with earnings. But it certainly helped us today. And look, yes, was our biggest winner today. up 242,000 for us. Boeing next in line, and Visa and our financials. Under Armour was nice to see too. All right, next thing. So let me go back to last Thursday. We talked a bit about, at least Kevin talked a bit about dollar cost averaging leaps. Let me look. Let's see, put you guys on pause for our screen just a second. Let me see if I can get onto Kevin's little slush fund account. I think he would have had the same leaps that we've been talking about. Let me see. Yes. So here we are. Okay. So it looked like a Visa and a Boeing. Added another dollar cost averaged on a Visa and a Boeing on his account. I believe we had I think we had cashed in some puts on Under Armours for most everyone to add more shares as well. A few hundred shares across several of our accounts with Under Armour. So a nice dollar cost averaging there that helped. But Visa, Boeing, I'm trying to remember what else. Seemed like we did some Disney. He doesn't have Disney. Let's see. Bear with me, guys. No, nothing on Disney for leaps. Earlier in the week, last week, there were some puts we had rolled down for Apple. Let me see what else. Maybe it was just Boeing Visa. It certainly would make a lot of sense. About check on Baidu. Don't think we had anything for Baidu, but I just want to make sure I got everything. All right, so unpause the screen here. Dollar cost averaging leaps and so what leaps were we mostly Boeing, of course, I think they're 275 strike. I'll say January 22. Which, of course, look at all those, 196. Do you think we have enough? I'm not sure if we have enough. But we had added to those calls. If that's something you had followed along with, I think an easier way maybe I could do this would be to just check our Hurley Investments trade findings. Let's see. And this one, right? November 5th. Go down. Trying to remember what Kevin had done. Okay, so I'd be looking at leaps for Visa, Baidu, Boeing, Facebook for post-election trades to test the waters. Okay, so following up with that, I'd say definitely Visa and Boeing. Get down to our Visa leaps. 225 strike, June 22nd. June 22, rather. Under Armour is kind of just more FYI, but Boeing and Visa leaps, man, was that a good idea last week. We had somewhat of an election reaction because it looked like Biden had all but won it in the way of electoral votes, and there wasn't a negative reaction, and so we took the opportunity to add to Under Armour on shares, cashing in puts, insurance, and add leaps to the positions such as Boeing and Visa. That seriously helped us out today when everything just went crazy. So if it would be cool to know if some of you guys have done that. You can give me a comment since that's something that was talked about. I would like to know if anyone else had added to and dollar cost average some leaps. If you're feeling bold. But that's something that was awesome. Glad we did that. Made perfect sense just based on the reaction that we were getting. And man, do we look like geniuses today. As far as Baidu, just as kind of following up with what Kevin had. Baidu, Facebook. Baidu. Let's look at a chart. It ended further down than I liked today. So I didn't notice anything we had done on Baidu as far as adding leaps, because I think we had done it so much and it's just kind of been going up. I think we had already had that in there back further earlier a month ago, and just kind of letting them go. So it started up 148 and just pretty much came down. Looked like it was going to hold 145 and came down below it just in the last half hour of the market before the close, which most everything fell away, especially our Apple and Facebook and other tech kind of fell away towards the last half hour. So as far as dollar cost averaging leaps, there wasn't necessarily as good of an opportunity there for Baidu. Facebook was up there at all-time highs last week. Again, close to 300, up here at 295. And one of the ones on the chopping block for the rebalancing turnover today. So I would think you'd probably see it bounce tomorrow, but see if maybe in the next week or two, Facebook starts to come back down to a level more like 270, that you can either start a new trade on Facebook leaps or dollar cost average if it lowers your cost basis. I would imagine it probably wouldn't unless you got those leaps up way up high, closer to 300. But that opportunity would have been somewhere here between September and October. But maybe it is just filling a gap here. I don't know. It had bounced quite a big difference from 270 up to basically 280 and finished that day up here on the 4th up at 286. All right, so enough about that. Boeing and Visa, hope you had gotten in for something in the way of dollar cost averaging. Looking further out, there's certainly still opportunity, maybe more in Boeing than Visa. See what Visa does over the next few weeks if it comes back down to fill a little bit of this gap. All right, wouldn't surprise me, but there you go. Questions and thoughts? All right, where will our markets end this week? Depends on our election results. We kind of got that, barring any crazy change in recounts and whatnot. Highly unlikely that anything that Trump is doing to fight any of the election results will happen. There you go. Where will our markets end this week? I'm going to say more vaccine optimism. And I think I mentioned it earlier. What else is the market euphoric about? I'll give you guys a chance. Election's over. We've been waiting for it. Haven't gotten it. Too many politics involved. What does the market want to see within the next few weeks? William says stimulus. Thank you, William. We get our S&P. All right, as I'm kind of putting in some of the screenshots here, questions from you. Any thoughts? No problem, Abraham. Take care. CompQ. All right. I would say we've moved towards the bullish. I'll leave that on there. We had one good day. Let's say bullish on S&P and Dow, not bullish. And NASDAQ looks to continue sideways. Can't get over the previous highs. All right. Where will S&P end November 2020? I think we're on track for a little higher than 2%. What do you guys think? We're already doing that, so makes sense. Kind of up what I would think we'd end at. Earnings, Beyond Meat was today. I didn't get a chance to see that, but not something we have, but If any of you have questions on it that may be in it, go ahead and throw them my way. We have Lyft tomorrow, purple mattress. I gotta say, we just bought a purple mattress with the power adjustable base, and man, am I sleeping like a baby. Fantastic. I definitely recommend it. TCOM, let's see, CCL, what is that? Carnival, Cisco, Thursday, Disney is ours that we're looking at. And make sure those of you that have Disney, check out the, go over to Disney, see if they've confirmed. Okay, they have confirmed. I didn't see that they had confirmed earlier. So Disney on the 12th is confirmed. So forget that. We're good to go there. DraftKings, JD, Friday. Economic wise, we've got Jolts, NBA, Wednesday, more initial claims, Treasury budget, inflation measures, and CPI for China and GDP for the euro. This is a note that Kevin had put in. Big decision now is when to take protection off and let stocks run into a Christmas rally. We did take some protection off several stocks today during trading hours. I think more than a Christmas, and this is my opinion, more than a Christmas rally, we'd be looking for the market, or the market rather would be looking for a stimulus package. That would certainly help. Christmas rally, keep your eye on a Target. Where is Target? Another one that got profit taking today. Costco was another one. A lot of their retail stores had the same kind of reaction. Under Armour today, not a retail store, a athletic brand, and got a nice bounce today. Not crazy big like everything else, but certainly nice. So I would keep all of those in the back of my mind, thinking about Christmas rally wise. Earnings, again, Disney, but also Baidu on the 16th will be important. Good article on emotions and decision making, 5 steps to improve your process. A good read on what negative rates might look like. Sensible, compassionate, anti-COVID strategy. Just some things to give you guys to take a look at. And a little bit of a other side of the coin from the currency. What was the headline up here? Negative rates. Negative rates and how that would affect our dollar to come down. Check out this Chinese yuan is a long way from achieving reserve currency status. So a couple others to see, read through those. I'm going to read through them again tomorrow. Just some good ones to check out. All right, guys, any questions or thoughts? I've got some more thoughts for things to talk about tomorrow. Unless Kevin tells me otherwise, I'm assuming I'm taking over tomorrow as well. So please join me then, 6 o'clock tomorrow, and we'll talk a little bit more about some other thoughts, ideas, things to watch out for. But if there's nothing else, that's it for me, guys. Give you a second to type any questions or thoughts. Thanks to everybody that contributed your thoughts, ideas. Really appreciate it. No problem. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, guys. All right, take care. We will see you next time. Goodbye.